Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Ben Millennials for day number 3 for our Black Wellbeing series. Monday, we had yoga and mindfulness where it was really fun. Hold on 1 second. Let me just mute. All right. All right, sorry about that. So, like I was saying, this is day number 3 of a week-long well-being series. We had yoga and mindfulness with Yoga Mike on Monday, and then we had OJ, the Juice Man from OJ Fit, yesterday, where we had a 30-minute workout, which was super intense, where we used 0 weights. So that was really interesting, especially now that we're on lockdown. We're going into a year of lockdown. So stay tuned for those videos. Those were all recorded. So we'll definitely be showing those on our Facebook page and sending it to your email if you want. So you can have those practical tools. So what we wanted to do, Ben Millennials, was give you guys practical tools that you could use throughout this quarantine and moving forward just to stay healthy. And we're all about thriving, not surviving. So that's the theme of this. We are honored to have a trainer, a really good, I call her a motivational speaker, as well as a nutritionist. She's been doing her thing for about 12 years, which you'll hear her entire story on the panel tomorrow night. So if you're here tonight, please join us tomorrow where we bring the entire week to a close, where we have Jodian, who's here tonight. We will have OJ and Yoga Mike with 2 therapists and clinician, one by the name of Celeste, the therapist, who's a really popular podcaster, and Naisha Deed, who has just started an online therapy meetup group, and it's also an apps. But I'm gonna let her explain that on tomorrow at the panel, and we're gonna dive really deep into how some of us survived COVID through death of loved ones, and just mental health issues, and just physical health issues. So we're gonna really dive deep tomorrow in that panel. But tonight is all about eating and eating healthy. As some of you heard earlier, a lot of us are from the South, and we just inherit bad eating habits. So what tonight is all about is just trying to develop some healthier eating habits and cooking skills, because if you're like me, I cannot cook, so I'm excited to learn. She's also gonna give us some tips on juicing. I'm really excited about the juice part, because I think that's gonna be easy for me and come easy. But if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat. Myself, Anila, Denise, and Dominique are on the call, and Kyra's on the call from Ben Millennials, and I'll let them introduce themselves really quickly. But they are on the call. You're welcome to type in the chat a question, and we'll try to get that question to Jodian. If it's a personal question about what Jodian has done, please save that for the panel tomorrow. Questions tonight should just be tailored to meal prep, juicing, eating habits, salt and all that good stuff intake. Any questions, comments, concerns before I let it go to my Ben Millennial queens? All right, Nyla, you're on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nyla. Jodian, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you. We are excited to share this space with you, and I'm looking forward to your demonstration. I'll pass it on to Dominique.
Hi, Jodian. And everyone, thank you all for joining, and thank you to Quincy and Nyla for putting this together. I'm Dominique Williams, and I'm the co-chair for Ben Millennials. I'm not going to be cooking tonight because I don't have the ingredients, but I am going to be looking on and salivating.
I don't have all the ingredients either, Dom, but I'm using what I got. Hi, everybody. I'm Denise Rory. Thank you so much for being here, Jodian. I'm excited to get some cooking going. So go ahead, Kyra.
Hi, guys. Kyra Fox, another member of Ben Millennials, and I do have all of the ingredients besides the vegan butter. but I just didn't prep. So I'm moving. So you'll see my face pop in and out, but I look forward to it. And thank you, Jodian. Thank you, Quincy. Hi, Danielle. All right, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. And thank you to our guests. Again, please join us tomorrow because we will be bringing this conversation to a whole. All right. Without any further ado, I will let Jodian take the mic. And it's all yours.
Alrighty, hey guys. So I am Jodian, and I am the owner of High Point Fitness Boston, which is a meal prep company. So I did start out about 12 years ago, as Quincy said, as a personal trainer. Thank you for being here. So I did start out, as I said, as a personal trainer about 12 years ago, and I was working under a woman who was really big on holistic health. So she was really big on eating well. She was really big on proper form. She was really big on breathing while exercising. So she was really big on structures that were not as popular as I was coming in. As I was coming into fitness, CrossFit was becoming really, really popular. So it was people were really competitive, and it was, who can lift the strongest, who can be the fastest, and we were forgetting about the structures that were important to keep the actual body strong, to keep the immune system strong, and to keep us healthy overall. So she was really big on teaching me that. I took that with me throughout my entire career, and I started this business about 2 years ago as a personal trainer that was offering meal prep as well as cold press juicing. I did that because I wanted to build the body holistically. So I did find that it was important to have a beautiful, strong body. But I found that while I was doing that, I was coming across people and I was finding within myself that there were other parts that were not as healthy. So the way that I started to pitch it to myself as well as to others is, what is the point of having, a beautiful, strong body if you are not kind to yourself and others, if you don't know how to respond to adversity, if you're not sleeping well, if you get sick every other day, right? So what's the point of having this beautiful body if the structures underneath are dying slowly? So I wanted to create a business in which I was offering services that fuel the body holistically, mind, body, and spirit. So using the healing structures within food, the chakra cleansing and building structures within our natural fruits and veggies for the juicing. And of course the exercise with the personal training. I have since moved on to focus on meal prep. So I am no longer a personal trainer. I have let that go, and I am now referring, of course, my clients and people that still come to me to amazing trainers. But I've let that go, and I've decided to focus on food because food is amazing, right? And that's the heartbeat to all of our lives. So this business is now a holistic food business, using the powerful, clean structures within our natural food to build a powerful body, a strong mind, and a healthy spirit. So within this meal prep business, I am now also offering these sweatshirts and t-shirts that embody, affirmations, if you'd like to call it, or they embody essentially wearing your confidence, right? So wearing that strong essence that you are building. So this Been It sweatshirt is a power structure. It's when you put it on, keep your head high, you've been it, be confident. So these are the things that I offer. Really big on total health, as you can see. So yes, beautiful body is important, but total health is the main focus of High Point Fitness Boston. So we are going to go ahead and get started. This will all be really quick, so please have faith. What I am going to do is I wanted to leave most of this to do with you guys. So I did have the option to go ahead and possibly chop veggies and do all that good stuff, but I wanted to do it with you and talk you through as well as give you some tips on food. So what I will do is I have already actually begun to heat my oven. So if you can, you're going to go ahead and heat your oven to 350. That is going to be for the green beans. If you are not using an oven, that can also be done on the stovetop. I prefer my veggies crisp tender. So it's going to be up to you about how long you decide to cook them, but I prefer mine crisp tender, and we will go through that together. So we'll begin with a large pan. I am going to heat this pan on about medium low with 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil. So as I said, I'm going to take you through with instructions, but I'll also kind of talk you through. So I am from the islands. My family is from Jamaica. And something I will mention really quickly is that most of us from the islands do have a strong structure of good eating. So there are lots of veggies, there are good source proteins. We usually use good spices that are really good for our overall health and immune system, but we take on too many carbs. So essentially that's a big part of what I do within this meal prep is I use clean, good, healing spices along with delicious, good source carbs and proteins. So cut the bad carbs to keep it clean. I also mentioned that to say I usually eyeball everything, which I am not going to do tonight, so I'll talk you through a little bit. But if you're an eyeballer like me, you'll see what's going on. So I'm going to heat about 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil over medium-low heat. I use grapeseed oil because it is a high heat oil. So many people are still using olive oil to cook, and that is not a high heat oil. So although olive oil has really good structures like healthy fat, which is the biggest portion of, biggest part of why many people use olive oil is the healthy fat. Once you do heat it past a certain point, you lose those benefits. So olive oil is best used for your dressings, best used to drizzle on after your food is already cooked. So grapeseed oil, a good high heat oil, coconut oil, a great high heat oil. I'm going to use about 2 capfuls for the tablespoon. So high heat oil, we're using grapeseed over medium-low heat. Like many people from the islands, I start just about every single meal with onions and garlic. So as I am kind of teaching myself about food and taking myself through a nutrition certification, what I have learned is that garlic is not as healing for the body as many of us has been taught, right? So its point of acidity is not as good for the body. So if using garlic, I would use fresh garlic or garlic that's been placed in water and not in oil because of the way that it ferments. So fresh garlic or garlic that's placed in water and not in oil. But we're going to go ahead and chop about 1/4 a cup of red onion. So 1/4 a cup of red onion. We're going to chop them pretty small. And this is completely preference for you. So if you want to slice them, you can slice them. Chop, you can chop. I myself am going to chop fairly small. And as I said, this is about 1/4 a cup of red onions. These guys are slimy. So I'm going to place the red onions in the tablespoon of grapeseed oil. I can also turn the heat up just a little bit. So if you are with me, we can turn the heat up to about medium. So instead of medium low, we can switch it up to about medium. The garlic, as I said, if you have a bulb of garlic or if you're using whole garlic, I'm going to use about 6 here. So the recipe called for 12 total. We're going to use about 6 in the shrimp and about 6 with the green beans. So if you're using a bulb, you're going to go ahead and chop 6 pieces of garlic. So the way that you would do that is you have the bulb of garlic, and I really do apologize for the lighting, but you have this bulb of garlic and you can smash it and open it up. So you would want to chop 6 of these pieces. So once you chop 6 of those pieces, it should come up to about 2 tablespoons, which is what I am going to use here. So as I said, I'm using garlic that's been in a little bit of water. About 2 tablespoons. So With that, you can just toss slightly in your oil. You want it covered in the oil, and you want to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes until the red onion begins to soften. So here, depending on how you like your garlic, and this is all preference, right? So some people like their garlic with a little bit of char. Some people like it a little bit more burnt. Some people like it slightly cooked like myself. So I am gonna go ahead and keep my, I turned my heat just a little bit down to it's about 5, so it's a little bit under medium, but I'm going to cook that slowly for 2 to 3 minutes. Like I said, I do not like burnt garlic, but I do want the onions to be softened just a little bit, so we're going to do that for about 2 to 3 minutes. You can stir a bit if you'd like, and if you are not a cook, the way that you kind of do this efficiently so that you are not wasting time is while one thing is kind of settling and doing its thing, you get prepared on another. So here are the bag of green beans. Once again, this is about 1 pound of green beans, which have not been cleaned yet because, like I said, I did want to kind of go ahead and do everything with you guys to also introduce efficient timing. So I'm going to wash these off quickly and drain them.
Hey, Kyla. You cooking with Mom? Okay.
Alrighty, so for the green beans, I am going to be using a pan because, as I said, they are going in the oven. So this pan is about 3 inches thick. You can use something a lot thinner. I would not use... So what I would not use is I would not use a pan without caps, right? So you'd want a full pan that can hold your green beans in, and it can be pretty thin, like I said. So something about 1 inch works. That works great. So that works great. Cookie sheets work great, but you do not want an open-ended pan. So I'm going to go ahead and take my green beans, and please go. And a big part of what you want to do is you want to watch. Be aware of things as you are cooking, or go ahead and set your timer for the times that I just mentioned. So you don't want your onions and garlic too charred, even if that's something you prefer. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly clean the green beans. And the way we are cleaning, let me take a few over, is many of these are just fine. So the way we're cleaning is we're just cutting the stems off. So here is a green bean that has too much of a chop stem, so we're just going to chop it off, and that is how you clean it. So just chop the stems off. And I am going to use the entire pound of green beans. And as I said, most of these are clean. I hope you're lucky like me, or you are beginning with green beans that are already cleaned. So it's been about 2 to 3 minutes. So we're going to take the shrimp, the raw shrimp, which was a ½ pound of raw shrimp that we put in the instructions that have been cleaned. So raw shrimp that are cleaned are just been peeled and deveined. They do sometimes come with the tail on, as these are, which is just fine. Many people prefer that. So I'm going to go ahead and take the cleaned shrimp and throw them into the pan.
I'm sorry, so put our green beans to the side and then put our meat in the pan.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're watching everything very closely. So we're watching closely to make sure that we're not overcooking. So it's 2 to 3 minutes cap for the onion and the garlic. Add in the raw shrimp and toss so that the onion and the garlic are covering the shrimp, as well as the oil, right? So you want everything covering the shrimp. If you need, you can go ahead and add another ½ tablespoon of grapeseed oil, but mine looks great, so I'm going to leave it as is. Shrimp cook very quickly, so we are going to turn the heat down to low as we season it. So we are going for a tablespoon of the garlic and onion powder. So about 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. I would also go for seasonings always that do not have any added salts. So no added salts with our seasoning. Garlic powder, 1 tablespoon. Onion powder, and please remember to have that shrimp on low. No one likes chewy shrimp. So about a tablespoon of onion powder. I'm going to do a teaspoon of the paprika or the cayenne to begin. So just 1 teaspoon to begin, and we can go ahead and add a little bit towards the end if we choose. But that's also something that you want to be careful of is over seasoning. So a good way to do that is to start with a base. What I usually do is about a tablespoon per half pound to pound of protein, depending on what it is. And from there, I add on towards the end after trying. So you want to toss those seasonings. It is not going to look super saucy yet. So you do want to be aware of that. So toss in the seasonings. We are going to take the lime.
Really quickly, how much garlic powder?
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon, okay.
Yeah. So 1 tablespoon. My limes have already been washed. You want to go ahead and wash the outside of the limes before you cut them. But I am doing 1 lime, and I'm going to take that lime and I'm going to squeeze it right over the shrimp. So 1 whole lime is going in there. And as I said, a few quick tips as we go through. A great way to brighten your food is to use fresh citrus. So to cut the salt and to still bring out great flavors, as well as to add in a bit of antioxidant and some vitamins into your food, fresh citruses work great. So lemon or lime juice, I do prefer them fresh. So after we put in about 1 tablespoon of lime juice, we are going to add the honey. So that's something that I did not mention when I went through that little spiel at the beginning, but we do have raw honey. Raw honey is a wonderful source of antioxidants. So if you are interested in a strong immune system, healthy bowel movements, you should have raw honey in your diet. So we're going to take the honey, and we are going for about 3. And I apologize. We're going for about 2 tablespoons of honey. Right, so you can dollop the 2 tablespoons of honey right on the shrimp. And continue to stir. So at this point, with your heat on low, your shrimp should definitely be turning color. They should not be overcooking because your heat is on low. And because it's reducing and spilling some water, as well as we've added the honey and the lime juice, you should have more of a little bit of a sticky sauce situation. So it shouldn't be saucy, but it should be looking a bit more sticky than we began. So here is where I will add in the cane sugar. So I did say I have about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I am going to limit that to 1 tablespoon to begin. So remembering that we start with the base and kind of add on as we taste and go. So about 1 tablespoon of the cane sugar is going in. And this, once again, is going to make it into more of a sticky glaze.
Sorry, I'm a little bit behind. How much honey?
So we went for about 2 tablespoons of honey. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly, of course, where you guys are in regards to how your shrimp looks, but my shrimp is turning color. It's definitely not overcooking. So I'm gonna set it aside for, not set it aside. I'm
sorry,
gonna leave
Jodian. How much sugar are we supposed to add? You lost me on the sugar.
about, no problem, about 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. Got it.
I apologize, about 1 tablespoon. So I have 2 to 3 here, but we're gonna begin with 1.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, lovely people. So while this is kind of settling in for another 2 to 3 minutes, we're definitely not going to leave it for long. We can switch back over to the green beans very quickly. So the green beans are going to be simple. After they've been cleaned, we're going to take about a tablespoon of a heaping tablespoon. So something to be aware of, which I'm sure you guys see all the time, is the difference between these measuring points. So a heaping tablespoon is very, very different than a loose tablespoon and a tablespoon that you see without those definitions. So this is going to be a heaping tablespoon of the vegan butter, regular butter if you have it, but please look to switching over because of those connections to diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, all of those guys that I mentioned a bit earlier. So the butter goes in right on top of the green beans like so. I'm going to take the garlic powder from before, and we're going with about 1 tablespoon of the garlic powder for the pound of green beans. We're going to take another lime. Like I said, mine have been cleaned. You do want to wash the outside of those limes very well before you slice into them. So another lime is going to go onto the green beans. So I do use the entire lime. Like I said, I do enjoy the citrus to bring out the natural flavors of the food. That really helps cutting added salts. So the lime goes on, the garlic powder is on, the vegan butter is on. Mine is garlic vegan butter, so it's going to be extra garlicky. We then are going to take the remaining 6 cloves of garlic. So I did have 12 cloves within the list there. We began with the 6, chopped those and threw them into the shrimp. The remaining 6 are going to go into the green beans. And quite honestly, I should have mentioned this before. You don't always have to chop. So garlic is really flagrant. And what you can do is once you have peeled your garlic, you can use just about anything with a hard surface and smash it. So once you smash it, that opens up the aroma, and you can use these as well. So if you don't want to chop, you can use smashed garlic, but we are going to put 6 cloves of the smashed or chopped garlic into the green beans with a little bit of salt. So we are going to go with about a teaspoon of pink salt. Half teaspoon of pink salt. I do suggest getting rid of the iodized salts. Throw it out, please throw it out. So we have the vegan butter, or regular butter, the garlic powder, the lime juice, the pink salt. I am going to then go ahead and drizzle on a half tablespoon of the grapeseed oil. So the Thai red chilies are going to go into the green beans. So I am going to go for, they are spicy green beans. So I am going to go for about 2 teaspoons of the red chilies, which I have already chopped and dried. So about 2 teaspoons of the red chilies. We're going to give that a toss. I enjoy using my hands. It really allows you to better distribute the flavor throughout your food, but please feel free to use a spoon or a fork. But I did go ahead and use my hands, and I am going to drizzle about half a teaspoon of the paprika on there as well. As I said, they are spicy green beans to balance out the sweet and spicy shrimp. So I'm not going to cover these because I do enjoy a little bit of color on my veggies. I suggest the same for you. So we're going to put them in the oven. The oven has been heated to about 350. And these are going to cook for about 10 minutes. So your shrimp at this point should not be raw anymore. And you can go ahead and try one. So mine tastes great. I'm going to add a little bit more spice for the spice portion. So I am going to add in a bit of the dried chilies into the shrimp as well. So this is something, as I said, the reason I wanted to do it completely with you all is starting with a base is a great way to not over season and to not overkill. So we started with about a tablespoon of the base seasonings, about a tablespoon of the garlic powder, about a tablespoon of the onion powder, and about a teaspoon or a couple of the paprika or the cayenne, whatever it is that you're using. I'm now going to go ahead and add more seasonings to my liking. So like I said, I'm going to add in some dried chilies. I'm going to add in a full teaspoon. I do like my food pretty spicy. You'll know that if you've ever had any of my my jerk variations that come on my meal prep. They're delicious and they are spicy. But I am going to go ahead and add in about a teaspoon of that, as well as another 2 teaspoons of my raw honey, which is a great antioxidant. So we are going to add that into the little ginger shot that we make if you have it. So I added another 2 teaspoons of the honey. I am then going to go ahead and touch up with another light drizzle of my garlic and onion powder. So this honestly is about half a teaspoon what I just did. So to my liking, I'm adding a bit more seasoning, and I will drizzle a bit more lime juice as well because that's what I prefer. But up to you if you do the same. So I will take you through what it is that we've used to make the shrimp, which should be about done. And what I would do is I would take them off of the fire. So I turn your fire off, remove them from the fire so that they do not overcook as the oven is on cooking the green beans. So even if you put your, if you turn your stove off, if you have your oven on, whatever you have on top is still cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the green beans. You can put them into a different pan if you choose. But as I said, mine are still pretty low cooked because I was cooking it on low. So we are going.
You said take the green beans out. I thought you said 10
Oh,
minutes.
so no, love. So I take the shrimp off.
Oh, okay.
So that the shrimp doesn't over.
But keep the green beans
Yes.
for 10 minutes, right?
Yes. So I'll take you through very quickly what it is that we have used for the shrimp once again. So we've used raw honey. We've used paprika or cayenne pepper. We've used onion powder, garlic powder, red onion, vegan butter or regular butter, lime juice, pink salt. Please get rid of your iodized salt, as well as some chili peppers. So that's what we've put into the sweet and spicy shrimp. And I do apologize. We did also add in some coconut sugar, which is a great alternative to your regular sugar, brown sugar included, which is not as good for you as you think. So coconut sugar, date sugar, using dates. So throwing dates into your smoothie and instead of those added sugars is also a good option. Maple syrup as well has really, really good heart health benefits. So maple syrup is also something that I suggest in in reverse to the added sugars that we use. But we do have the green beans in the oven for about 10 minutes, and we are going to get started on the ginger, which will be super quick as well. So we do have about a pound of ginger that we should be working with. Ginger is really popular in my home, and I'll take you through why very quickly. It is extremely, extremely, extremely healing. So ginger is really good for your gut health, as well as detox. So it's a really good agent to open up your pores naturally. So detoxing naturally through your pores, as well as high fiber for those bowel movements. So ginger is something that you do want to have in your diet weekly. If it's not on a daily basis, you definitely want to have it in your diet weekly to aid as a natural detox. So as I said, ginger is super popular in my home, and from this morning, it's been cut just a little bit, but we do have enough. And I do not peel my ginger. So I don't peel my ginger. I also do not peel most of my veggies. So when it comes to the sweet potatoes, when it comes to most of the veggies that you can think of, I wash them very well and leave the skin on. Because the skin is where you're going to find most of the vitamins and minerals. So the flesh is good as well, but the skin is where you're going to find most of the vitamins and minerals. So I do suggest leaving the skin on always. So scrubbing clean your veggies and spices, but leaving the skin on. So I'm going to quickly clean these off. Alrighty, and like I said, you guys are working with about a pound of ginger. I am going to take about half of that, well, half of what I have, and I'm going to slice into 1-inch chunks. So 1-inch chunks. So after you slice into your 1-inch chunks, I do suggest about 16 to 20 ounces of water per half pound of ginger. So you do want it spicy, well, a bit spicy, depending on preference, but you do want to receive the benefits, right? So you do want to taste it, and spice is a natural component of ginger. So we do want to slice the ginger with skin on into about 1-inch pieces. I'm going to take the half pound of ginger. I'm working with a little bit less, but we're going to take the half pound of ginger and throw it into your 16 to 20 ounces of water. And you are going to put your heat on high. So don't be afraid to allow that to boil. You do want it to boil to receive the full benefits. So we're going to throw that on high. And if you're like me, you do check on your food when it's in the oven, just to make sure that you don't need to add a bit of oil, to make sure that the stove isn't up too high. So like I said, I'm going to quickly check. As well as to toss the butter around. So I'm going to throw these back in for a couple of minutes. And your shrimp should be set aside. You can go ahead and lightly cover the shrimp now. So especially when it comes to seafood, covering right after is not a good idea because it'll continue to cook. It'll get hard and chewy, which is not what you want. So it's okay to lightly cover the shrimp now. I would leave the cover open just a little bit, but the ginger is now on high. And we can go ahead and take the other half pound of ginger and slice that up as well. So we're going to slice that into the 1-inch chunks. Not completely necessary, but it can help depending on the strength of your blender. So alrighty, so this is actually a good message for you for me to share with you guys. I just got a message from a client who has been with me for about a year, and he got into an accident at work, so he had to switch over to receiving meal prep for every other week. So he receives 2 weeks instead of every week. So I just received a message from him stating I need to get back into a consistent rhythm on meal prep. I noticed being off, I feel lazy and I have no energy. So that is in real time a really good message to receive to illustrate the importance of good nutrition. So to fuel your energy, right? To make sure that you are sleeping well. I'll go through these things over and over and over again because this is how you want to talk to yourself and how you want to change your relationship with food. Your food should be fueling the type of life that you want, right? So if you want a life that is full of quality, if you want a life in which you are embodying health for yourself and your children, I see that adorable little girl coming in the camera. But, you know, food is definitely a big, big part of what you want to take a hold on to change that. It is something that we all have the ability to change, and it's not as hard as we think. So changing your relationship with food, educating yourself on how to eat is vital. So my stove is pretty powerful. So my ginger is boiling just a bit. And as I said, we did take the other ½ pound of ginger and we chopped that into the 1-inch pieces. So with that ½ pound of ginger, 1-inch pieces, I am going to take about 3 limes. So these limes are medium. If you have large guys, you may be able to get away with 2, but I'm going to use about 3 limes, which should equate to about 1/4 cup of lime juice. So I do this every week and it's just becoming really familiar to me. So these 3 limes should equate to about 1/4 cup of lime juice, which we are going to mix with some spring water. We're going to blend the lime juice, fresh lime juice, fresh spring water, which is naturally alkaline, the reason that we're using that, as well as the ginger, of course. We're going to blend that and strain that to make the gut shot. And the gut shot is definitely going to be something that I suggest on an empty stomach at least 3 times a week. So that's something that I use for myself and with clients to aid as a weekly detox. So to get rid of the toxins and the crap that does not want to be in your body anyway. And quickly step away from the ginger. I hope I'm showing you guys how to be multifunctional in the kitchen. It is absolutely possible. So timing and paying attention is the way that you want to go. So we're going to remove the green beans. As I said, I do enjoy mine's crisp tender. You can go ahead and try those green beans. If they are not cooked enough for you, you can throw them back in the oven, but mine are great. I can tell by the look. And what I'm going to do with that, guys, is I'm actually just going to throw it into the same pot that I have the shrimp in, just so everything can kind of settle together. And I will show you what that looks like in just a moment. So your ginger should be boiling. You don't want it to, So you actually don't want the ginger to, you don't want it to lose water. So I would have that at about medium high on the ginger. Your beans have been removed from the oven, so don't forget to turn that off. And we can go ahead and finish up with the gut shots. So the gut shots, as I said, are going to be about 1/4 cup of fresh lime juice. I myself am using 3 fresh limes. They are medium. Checking in with you guys. I hope everyone is feeling good. Okay, so within the 4th cup, Good. So with the 4th cup of fresh lime juice, which is a wonderful energizer. It's a wonderful way to get your digestive system going in the morning. It's a wonderful way to increase bowel movements. So something that you should be noticing by now is that maintaining good health is, as I stated, not as hard as you may imagine. So maintaining a strong immune system, making sure that you are detoxing daily or at least weekly through healthy bowel movements and through sweat. Making sure that you are keeping up on your healthy fat. That healthy fat is going to make sure that you absorb your vitamins and your minerals a lot better. So your olive oil that has not been heated, your avocados, your avocado oil, your raw nuts, all of those things are really important structures to a healthy system. And with that, you'll notice overall changes. So a decrease in inflammation, if that's something that you're dealing with, absolutely a decrease in bloating. You will absolutely lose fat. These are all components of a proper eating structure as well as a healthy gut. So that is the reason that we are making these gut shots, is for a healthy gut. And I did suggest having them in the morning on an empty stomach, right? When your stomach is empty, nothing else to fight through, great time to get your digestive system going with these gut shots. So a fourth cup of fresh lime juice, that half pound of ginger. I am then going to go in and add about, where is it? We're going for about, let's see. This is going to be about 3/4 a cup of spring water. And when I say spring water, I just mean natural water. So we're not going for tap water. Boiled ginger off of the fire now as well. As I said, you do not want to be shy in regards to boiling your ginger. So I do traditionally boil my ginger for about 20 minutes, but I wanted to give you guys time to kind of understand everything as we were going along. So the ginger was about that half pound of ginger, cleaned with skin on and chopped, boiled in about 16 to 20 ounces of water. You don't want to lose too much water, if any, so I did boil that on medium high. I did not cover it. You can cover it if you choose. I personally really enjoy the aroma. So the ginger, I'm going to leave in the pot until it cools, honestly. I'm not going to transfer it into anything else. But the ginger is something that I do suggest. And so 6 to 8 ounces at least 3 times a week. So that is going to be in addition to the gut shot. It is really simple to take care of yourself and to do the right thing for your body, but you do want to do that consistently. So doing this once a week may not show you a great benefit, but doing this, 3 to 4 times a week, 5 to 6 times a week on a consistent basis is where you'll realize an increase in your overall health. So you can boil it and drink it hot, reheat it in the pot. I do not suggest using the microwave as often as we do. So you can reheat it in the pot. You can drink it cold. You can add this as a base to your smoothies. You can add it as a base to your smoothie bowls. So it's a really delicious and easy option to have around. So I am just going to leave this to cool. I'm going to cover it in a mason jar and throw it in my fridge. This lasts, so you can keep this in your fridge for up to 3 weeks, the ginger tea. I do not suggest having it that long because you should be drinking it on a weekly basis, if not daily. So lovely people, we have gone through the gut shot together, which was done really quickly. We've gone through the prep together, which we're going to quickly go through together once again. And we've also gone through the ginger tea, which I just explained as well. So we did do all of that in about an hour. So we did get started a little bit late, and with the interruptions, it was about an hour in which we prep dinner that can be for 2. It can last for up to 2 to 3 days, depending on what those goals are, as well as some aids that are going to help our gut and our overall health, especially our immune system, that can last for, up to a week. So the ginger, as well as the ginger tea, as well as the gut shots that you have, can last you up to a week. So this is actually, it's on my phone now, so you guys may be able to get a better view of what it is that we are working with. But here is the finished product for the food. So it is beautiful and it's really delicious. So I was munching a little bit as the power went out. So here's the finished products for my food. I am going to take a little photo of it. And what I wanted to mention there, what I wanted you to see and feel is that you do want to have a colorful plate. So that should be the actual colors that are on your plate, but I mean that not as literally as well. So you want to have a plate that really aids and fuels more than just that physical look that you're looking for. So you want to have a plate that is fueling a healthy gut, fueling a good bowel movement, fueling healthy sleep, fueling those physical goals that you're looking for. So yes, they're repetitive, but like I said, educating yourself on food as well as adjusting your relationship with food will change your life. So what I do suggest in regards to plating, as I said before, is always going to be about half cup of veggies, a fourth a cup of good source carbs, as well as a fourth a cup of good source veggies. That transfers into about roughly about 5 to 6 ounces of protein, 2 cups of veggies, and about a fourth a cup of good source carbs, depending on what that is. And that is going to be a packed cup. So depending on your goals, that may adjust just a little bit, but those are the rules of thumb for a healthy plate here. Something I did want to mention as well is, of course, you may not feel as though you have a carb in this plate, but green beans are a veggie that are a little bit higher in carbs. So green beans are definitely one of those veggies that can play as a carb source. I will also say that in regards to fruit, a high carb fruit, couple of high carb fruits that you want to have and also be aware of are your bananas and your apples. So bananas and apples are really, really, really high in sugar, and they're really high in carbs. So if you are someone who is interested in weight loss, which many of us are, because of the structures that we have in food today, we gain weight very easily. But many of us are interested in weight loss, and with the carbs and the bananas, you want to remember that they play as a large carbs. With the bananas and the apples, you want to remember that they play as a large carb source. So that can play as your entire carb source for breakfast. An apple with maybe a cup of egg whites, or a sliced banana on top of your oatmeal. So be careful of those higher carb fruit, especially. And as I said, I'm pretty familiar with this plating because this is what I do for work. So we're going to go about 2 cups green beans. These look, smell, and really taste good. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you adjusted the seasonings if that's something that you needed to do. But they taste great. And as I said, the shrimp is not saucy. It's supposed to have a light, sticky glaze. So you can have food that's balanced with flavor, in which you're cutting carbs and really fueling a powerful body, strong mind, and healthy spirit. So this is what my plate now looks like. About 2 cups of the veggies, about 1 cup of the shrimp. As I said, the veggies are playing as the carb source for tonight. And I had fun with you all. I think now may be a good time to open up for questions if you have them.
Thank you. That was amazing call. Jodian is on Instagram, and she will be on Facebook by the close of business tonight. If I have something to do with it, so you can find us there, and I'll be posting the recipes and some of the videos as well throughout the week. So you'll see OJ's video as well on there. So thank you for joining us. Anybody else have any questions? I don't see any else. All right. So I do want to be respectful of everyone's time because you guys have been with me all week. And I'm tired and I'm trying to eat this concoction I fixed. So if you guys don't mind, please send me a picture of your finished dish if you have it. If not, that is totally fine. Again, thank you for being with us. Yes, great tips. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Ben Millennials, for joining us, and everybody else. If there are no more questions, I will let you go. Please, 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 please send me pictures. I am super proud of my gut shots, though.
You all are great.